Now, WGEM Sports with Garrett Tias.
It wasn't exactly ideal conditions for running today, but that wouldn't stop one of the biggest cross-country events of the year. It was the Tom Oakley Invite. Now, there was originally only 8 teams in the event due to COVID-19 restrictions, but after QND pulled out of the race last night, that left 7 teams, but don't worry, a day still full of plenty of excitement. It would start raining right before the race. QHS head coach Matt McClellan would pull his team aside, trying to ease his runners' minds of the conditions.
I just told him, hey, you know what, it's going to be slick. It'll be slick for us, but it's slick for everybody. You just have to go out there, try to stay under control around the turns, and everything else will take care of itself.
But on to the girls' race we go. The girls starting off here looking to get ahead early, and after a couple of turns in, who else other than Quincy's Anna Schuring in the lead, and not just in a lead, but in a big one. Coach McClellan telling Schuring to just run her race. And she would do just that. As she approaches the finish line with no one else around her, Schuring finishes first with a time of 18:20, beating second place by 43 seconds. The Blue Devils would have 4 runners finish in the top 5. Here's Olivia Schuring finishing third, followed by Reese Terstrup. Following her big win, Anna Schuring talked about this race for her and her team's performance.
I feel like this was a pretty important race to me. You know, it's probably the biggest race we've had this season, so I wanted to do the very best I could do, but also, you know, our team has been doing an awesome job and everyone's been working hard.
And next up were the boys. Starting up here, everyone looking at the matchup of Quincy's Vicar Rosen and West Hancock's Miles Shepard. And the two would not disappoint. A couple of turns in, and the two are neck and neck in a field of their own, the two leading big. But Shepard would start to pull away close to the finish line, and Shepard would finish first with a time of 15:28. Rosen finished just 3 seconds behind him with a time of 15:31. Shepard would go on to talk about what it's like running in a close race.
When we're next to each other, you have to try and stay. If he's really good, you're going to have to try and stay with him. And just neck and neck, you're going to have to try your hardest to pass that person. When you pass that person for a little bit, you know he's going to have a lot of endurance. He's going to try and push just as hard as you.
On to the team results. For the girls, Quincy took first with a score of 23 and a total team time of 1:39.30. Like I said, they had 4 of the top 5 finishers. Allman would take second with 32 points, followed by Liberty, and third with 82 points. For the boys, Quincy would also win with a score of 31 and a total time of 1:26.17, followed by West Hancock with 34 points and Allman in third with 69 points, a sweep for the QHS team. Not only were high school athletes battling the wet conditions today, they were also fighting the weather on the collegiate scene. The Hannibal Lagrange men and women's soccer teams hosted Central Baptist College earlier today in an American Midwest Conference match. The men's team is 3-0 overall and 1-0 in conference play. And the Trojans were looking to make it 4 straight today. First half, the Trojans looking to get on the board early. Benjamin Contreras gets to the middle of the field and rips one, trying to bend it to the top corner, but barely misses. He'd make up for it later. A couple minutes later, Jamie Garcia gets the ball and makes a move by the defender, slips it by the keeper, and gets the ball on the ground low, and the Trojans are now up 1-0 early, but Hannibal Lagrange would keep the pressure on. Mason McQueen crosses the ball. The goalie makes a save. Hannibal rips another and another save until the defense kicks it out of play. What a stop by the keeper. But moments later, Contreras slips past the defense on the long pass, and Contreras buries this one past the goalie, putting the Trojans up 2-0. I told you he'd make up for that miss earlier. The Trojans would add 2 more in the half, and Hannibal Lagrange would keep scoring as they would go on to beat Central Baptist by the score of 6-1. They are now 4-0 overall and 2-0 in conference play. The Hannibal Lagrange women team would play after looking to follow the men's performance. The Trojans are looking for their first win of the season, and they dominated the first part of the first half, constantly putting shots on net. Here's one from Bailey Neighbor, and another chance here as Destiny McClintock crosses the ball. No one gets a foot on it, but it bounces back to Faith Fields, and Fields rips a shot by right to the keeper who makes the save. Like I said, the Trojans dominated the first part of the first half, but Central Baptist made a call in the Hannibal zone. On the free kick, Kelsey Moore boots one. Hannibal goalie stops it, but Kayla Lee would be there for the rebound, and she slips it by the keeper, and Lee would put the Mustangs up 1-0. The Trojans would try to add one late in the first half on the corner kick. It juggles around, but the keeper would fall on it, making the save, and that Kayla Lee goal would end up being the difference maker in this one. As Central Baptist beats Hannibal Lagrange at home by the score of 1-0, the Trojans are now 0-3. Some programs were up early this morning trying to beat the weather. The QHS and QND boys golf teams were back on the fairways at the Taylorville Invitational, and the weather would affect most, but still some good scores put up at the Lakeshore Golf Course. Springfield Sacred Heart Griffith took first with a score of 318. QHS would finish second with a score of 333, and QND would finish third with a 339. And Alex McCoy once again is your medalist. He did it this time by 6 strokes, shooting a 71, which is good for 1 under par. Congrats, Alex.